The story begins with an 8-year-old girl playing hide-and-seek with her father, when suddenly, the door opened and 2 goons pushed her father inside. Before the girl could understand anything, one of the goons took out a knife and stabbed her father in the chest. Despite being injured, her father told her to stay quiet even in his last breath. But suddenly, a heavy hammer fell on her head, leaving fresh bloodstains on the girl's face as her father was dragged outside. Sookie thought she was safe, but a man returned with a hammer, forcing her to hold her breath while she sat on the bed watching him spin it. Her heartbeat got faster as she thought the killer would kill her too, and then she was caught, but that man didn't kill her and instead sold her to an old man. As soon as the old man was about to take off his clothes and do something disgusting with her, a stranger entered and dropped him down, causing a gun to fall near Sookie. On seeing the opportunity, Sookie picked up the gun and killed the man behind her, meaning that day, the 2 of them saved each other's lives. The man who came to save her was Jung Sang, the leader of the Yenbian gang, and Sookie asked him to make her a professional killer to take revenge on her father. Therefore, Jung Sang put her in a gun assembling match with a fugitive where the condition was that Sookie had to first load the gun and shoot the opponent, but he didn't expect her to load the gun in just 10 seconds. Sookie aimed but couldn't press the trigger due to her innocence, seeing which, the man accelerated and aimed at her, but Jung Sang shot him dead. After this, Jung Sang started training her, and during this time, Sookie fell in love with Jung Sang, which made him happy. Soon, Sookie got a clue about her father's killer and reached his house with an axe, but there was already a trap laid there and she was caught. The attacker picked up a hammer but did not kill her, instead telling her that he did not kill her father and that the real killer was someone else. He was about to tell the truth when suddenly the window broke, and Jung Sang came in as death, killing everyone in a moment and saving Sookie's life again. After this incident, Sookie expressed her love to Jung Sang, he agreed, and they got married. But on their honeymoon, a mysterious call came, and he left Sookie alone. When they met again, Jung Sang had become a corpse because he was looking for her father's killer and was killed by deceit the moment he got a clue. Hearing this, Sookie broke down and decided to take revenge. She entered the enemy's den alone and killed a guard, having no idea that there were hundreds of armed people in front of her as she kept moving forward, killing everyone one by one. To avenge the death of her loved ones, she reached the top with all her strength and kept attacking with a knife without stopping. Every blow was lethal, but Sookie was also a human being, and her strength began to fail against the crowd and constant attacks. Then a fat man grabbed her neck, threw her down, and grabbed her hair, causing Sookie to lose control until she felt something hard in her hand, which she hit into the thighs of the fat man. He let go of her hair, and Sookie attacked his face, overpowering him when he fell, then picked up a rope from the shelf, put it around his neck, and strangled him to death. Sookie got down on the ground, kept pulling the rope, then ran, broke the glass, and jumped out of the building, taking revenge on her father by killing the entire gang. As soon as she left, the police surrounded her, completely stunned by her ability after following her for months. Then a secret agency made her unconscious, took her with them for a special mission, and quietly performed plastic surgery so that when Sookie opened her eyes, her face had completely changed. She was kept in a secret base where she was repeatedly made unconscious by releasing poisonous gas through the ventilation. But this time, when the armed guards came to take her, Sookie, who was acting, suddenly woke up and started attacking. She thought something was wrong, but as she ran, she saw girls dancing ballet inside and was surprised to see what was going on. The guards started following her as she tried to run with all her strength, opening another room where people were learning to cook specially, where the people seemed completely accustomed to it. Meanwhile, all the guards followed her and one of them caught her, but as soon as they were about to control her, Sookie took out a knife and grabbed the guard. She thought she would run away, but as soon as she opened the door, a table came in front of her where people were watching her calmly, and the scared Sookie just wanted to get out of this strange place. She kicked a door open where some girls were learning makeup, completely unfazed by her actions because every person brought here had tried to escape before and failed, leaving Sookie afraid that she might get stuck here too. She hurriedly asked for the way out, and a girl with short hair came, promised to show the way, and walked with her to a secret exit. The girl asked Sookie to jump down from a height of about 10 meters, and when Sookie hesitated, the girl herself jumped down safely, seeing which Sookie stabbed a guard in the leg, pushed him, and jumped herself. But before touching the ground, the girl shot her with a dart, revealing all of this was a conspiracy by Chief Kwan, who ran this secret agents training center. Chief Kwan recognized Sookie's ability and wanted to train her for a special mission, but after Jung Sang left, Sookie did not want to live. The chief had another way to convince her, showing an ultrasound report and saying she was going to be the mother of Jung Sang's child, knowing that a child is a woman's biggest weakness, while also promising her a new identity and a retirement fund after 10 years. Finally, Sookie agreed for the sake of the child and started training to hide among people, though she was not able to blend in as a teacher because as soon as she studied, she started to feel sleepy, and she did not even know how to cook or do makeup. Despite being an expert in martial arts, she was weak in other tasks, and soon the chief started scolding her. During this time, a woman suddenly entered with a knife shouting for the way out, and while the other women remained calm having gone through it themselves, the chief indicated that Hyun-soo should show her the way out, making Suk-hee understand what was going to happen next. After a while, Suk-hee gave birth to her child, and as her daughter grew up, her responsibility increased, forcing her to work hard to be the first in training so they could go out soon. Seeing her pain, the chief gave her a chance, saying that if Suk-hee kills a man, she will be able to go out with her daughter after the mission. That same night, she entered the man's house with a weapon, but the man was already ready, dropping her gun with a sword and attacking. Suk-hee grabbed him, and when she couldn't get away, she changed her hand and attacked, escaping his clutches as a fierce fight broke out between the two until Suk-hee finally killed him and completed the mission. After passing the mission, she got a new responsibility to hide among the people with a new identity. Suk-hee wanted to live peacefully with her daughter, but a neighboring resident, Hyun-soo, started liking her and came home again and again to ask how she was doing. Suk-hee was alert and had him checked, but as soon as she got the news that Hyun-soo was not a spy, she became restless. Soon, her daughter was admitted to school, and Suk-hee took care of her daughter around her missions while Hyun-soo always stayed around them, bringing them happiness. Slowly, the two got closer and fell in love with each other. But suddenly, a phone call stopped everything when the team leader gave her a new mission, forcing her to lie to Hyun-soo about a friend's accident, giving him the house keys so he could stay there. Here, Suk-hee became an escort with her junior to steal a target's data, and as soon as she got his mobile, she made an excuse for the washroom and took out all the information onto a pen drive, hiding the copied data in a pen clip. The job was done in 10 seconds, but as soon as she returned to the room, she saw that her junior was caught, and as suspicion increased, Suk-hee had to hand over the man's phone and the pen clip for the sake of her junior. The cunning man understood that the data had been copied, so a dangerous fight broke out between the four of them, where Suk-hee turned around and took back the pen drive, though her junior was badly injured. That's when the chief reached there on time, and Suk-hee immediately asked for the junior to be taken to the hospital. But the chief ignored her, telling her she should have done her job properly, leaving Suk-hee helpless as she watched her junior die. The chief's rule was clear: the strong will survive and the weak will die. On returning home, she saw her sleeping daughter and broke down on the sofa, worried about her future, trying to hide her tears in the sound of running water. But Hyun-soo heard everything, and when he saw Suk-hee crying, he hugged her without asking questions, strengthening the love between them. When Hyun-soo proposed marriage, Suk-hee hesitated, telling him he would be scared and leave if he found out her truth, but he promised he would always be with her, so she finally agreed. She asked the chief for permission to marry Hyun-soo so her daughter could be safe, and the chief agreed on the condition that the wedding location and guests would be decided by the agency, warning her that she must obey every order to be free after 10 years. Suk-hee happily informed Hyun-soo, but then the truth came to light that Hyun-soo was actually the chief's agent who had been keeping an eye on her since the day she arrived at the base, meaning their love was just the chief's plan to monitor her at all times. Unaware of this truth, Suk-hee waited for the wedding, but 10 minutes before the ceremony, the chief assigned her a new mission at that exact chosen location. Suk-hee got her weapons, looking beautiful holding a white sniper rifle, and aimed at the target, but she panicked as soon as the bullet was fired, hitting the target's eye as guards immediately surrounded him. She carefully fired a second bullet hitting the bodyguards directly, and now seeing the target clearly, she realized it was her dead husband, Jung-sang, alive and well, leaving behind his son. Then the doorbell rang calling her out for the wedding, so she hid the gun and quietly left, losing her mind over how he could be alive and hiding for so many years. She couldn't believe her eyes but had no choice but to marry Hyun-soo. Soon, Jung-sang searched for the sniper position, got the footage showing Suk-hee going to the bathroom, and after investigating, found out all the wedding guests were rented, understanding the whole conspiracy. To find out the truth, he went to watch Suk-hee's stage show, and as soon as it was over, he met her backstage. His face had changed but his eyes were still the same, and while he just wanted to identify her, pretending to be a fan, Suk-hee told him to leave immediately. The very next moment, Jung-sang pointed a gun at her because he couldn't take any risks, but Suk-hee talked to him with such detachment that Jung-sang became convinced she wasn't the girl he was looking for and left. At the same time, Hyun-soo told the chief about their meeting, which Jung-sang's men also overheard. Soon, the chief started interrogating Suk-hee and warned her that she had to kill Jung-sang tonight if she wanted to stay with Hyun-soo, but then Suk-hee received a card and a USB hidden in some flowers. Suk-hee used the USB in a cafe to keep herself safe and heard a recorded conversation between Hyun-soo and the chief, where the chief told him he shouldn't have grown attached, and Hyun-soo replied that his marriage was strictly a mission. As soon as she heard the truth, her heart broke realizing her love was a trap, so to take revenge, she sent a message to Jung-sang warning him that a secret agent was coming to kill him. Acting on the news, Jung-sang's men caught the incoming agent, making the chief understand that Sookie had cheated on them, though she didn't tell Hyun-soo anything and just ordered him to keep an eye on her. Sookie wanted to take revenge on Hyun-soo but kept waiting for the right time, while the chief made a new plan to get rid of the caught agent by making a deal to give Sookie to Jung-sang so they could kill each other. Jung-sang agreed to the deal, but before reaching the destination, he intercepted the convoy on a motorcycle, stopped the chief's car, and killed the guards. The chief had already picked up her gun when a truck hit them from behind, and in the frenzy, Sookie took the handcuffs off a dead guard and escaped as the situation completely changed. Jung-sang finally left her outside her apartment, and she picked up a gun for safety, but as soon as Sookie reached the courtyard under her apartment, a sudden explosion shook her heart. When she looked up, Hyun-soo was falling from the window holding her daughter in his arms, and Sookie ran like crazy, spreading her arms to catch her daughter, but the next second, both bodies crashed onto the ground. Sookie ran and picked up her daughter, but it was too late as she had already stopped breathing, and though Hyun-soo managed to hold his breath wanting to say something, seeing Sookie falling apart, he stopped breathing too. At that moment, Sookie's anger reached the seventh heaven, convinced the chief had done all this, arising a fire of revenge where she now only wanted the chief's death. But then the chief quietly turned on a monitor, playing the footage captured before the explosion. In fact, the secret agent caught by Jung-sang was the one who gave up her address, and on that information, Jung-sang's men reached her home. When Hyun-soo returned with her daughter, they attacked him, and Hyun-soo understood it was Jung-sang's plan, speaking to him over a radio only to get an answer that if he wanted to stay alive, he should kill the girl with his own hands as a man threw a knife in front of him. But Hyun-soo had already accepted that girl as his daughter, so he picked up the knife and fought with all his might, though he could not hold on as the number of enemies increased and he was caught again. Then Hyun-soo found out the ultimate truth. The goon who killed Sookie's father all those years ago was none other than Jung-sang himself, a revelation that shook the ground under Sookie's feet. After that, Hyun-soo and a bomb were tied together with a plan that as soon as Sookie reached the ground, it would explode, because Jung-sang knew how dangerous she was and wanted to break her completely before standing up against the agency. But he made a mistake, as the chief had the footage of the entire house, and as soon as the truth came out, only anger remained in Sookie. She drove a vehicle through the roof barrier right into Jung-sang's den, and the moment she stepped inside, she killed everyone one by one until corpses were scattered all over the place in a few minutes. Finally, Jung-sang came out of his den, and Sookie asked him one remaining question: did he ever truly love her? Jung-sang spoke the truth without hesitation, saying he never loved her and did everything strictly for a purpose, wanting to keep Sookie with him to make her his fastest and most dangerous weapon, though fate turned the game around. As soon as she heard this, Sookie broke down from the inside, threw her gun away, took out a small knife, and slapped Jung-sang without a moment's hesitation. She launched an attack using every move he had taught her, bringing the two top-level fighters face to face as the fight moved from the house onto the public road. No one was ready to back off, but then Jung-sang's men reached there, saved him, and hijacked a transit bus to run away. Sookie ran after them but collided with a car and fell to the ground, taking advantage of which, Jung-sang ordered the bus to move toward her at full speed. But at the last moment, Sookie rolled away, refused to leave him alive, and got up immediately. She broke the windshield of a car with a hammer, started the engine, pressed the accelerator down with a bottle, and got onto the bonnet to follow the bus. As soon as the car approached, she jumped, hung onto the back of the bus, and broke the window to go inside. The goons surrounded her but could not stand against her power, forcing Jung-sang to come forward to fight Sookie. As soon as Jung-sang became weak, he called his goons to attack Sookie from behind, but despite the pain, Sookie attacked the driver, causing the bus to flip over. The injured Jung-sang could not move, giving Sookie her chance as she picked up an axe, though her hands stopped before she could strike. Jung-sang smiled and started whistling the exact same tune from the night he killed her father, a voice still alive in her memories. In just one moment, all her remaining anger turned into a definitive storm. This time, she was not scared at all, and she separated his head from his body in a single motion, bringing an end to Jung-sang's story as the movie came to a close. If this intense story of betrayal and ultimate revenge kept you on the edge of your seat, hit that subscribe button and join the Cinemaned family right now. Thank you so much for watching. Your support means the world, and it's what keeps these incredible cinematic stories alive. See you in the next one.